Good morning and welcome. So good morning. My name is Jill Marie. I am the Executive Director here at Habitat for Humanity of Greater Newburgh. Last year I stood here just shy of 2 weeks, my first 2 weeks here, and I was wide-eyed and inspired. And this year I stand here before you, humbled and grateful. So what have I learned in this past year? Whew, it's been a year. I've learned that this agency was established by the blood, sweat, and tears of volunteers. I've learned that the culture of this organization is one of service and commitment. And I've learned that there are many moving parts of this organization, and it takes a dedicated staff and a committed volunteer group to keep it moving. I've learned that the average time for our family in our program is 12 to 18 months, and that includes doing 250 sweat equity hours per working adult. It also includes 6 months of educational classes. I've learned that the impact of COVID not only cost the building costs were affected, but also the availability of property here in Newburgh. I've learned that the average sale price of a home now in Newburgh is $350,000. Black home ownership in the Hudson Valley is 32%, while their white counterparts are 68%. But in the city of Newburgh, only 19% of homes are owned by Black families. And I've also learned that the average age of Newburgh currently is 31. Yeah, I feel old. But these challenges are not unique to Newburgh. After COVID, over 40,000 people from the 5 boroughs moved up to the Hudson Valley, and it created a housing crisis that we are currently living in. We're seeing our generations, our younger generations, our workforce generation leaving the state, and it's creating an ever more clear workforce shortage. We at Habitat for Humanity are working towards solutions. And I know none of this news is new to you. All of you are here because you are dedicated, directly impacted, and faithful to our mission to build houses, building hope, and building community. So as I said, 1 year later, I stand before you humbled and grateful. It is my pleasure to introduce Pastor Edward Lewis from the Calvary Presbyterian Church for our opening blessing and invocation.
Why don't you bow your heads with me? Most merciful and eternal God, we're grateful for this opportunity. And while we stand in line with our mission of enabling people to have their homes, we are mindful that while we stand in this armory around this world, there is trouble. It is our prayer today that as we work for equity here in Newburgh, we ask that we provide the equity for our brothers and sisters around this world. Bless this stewardship mission, and we pray that we can continue to be mindful of the principles of justice, mercy, and grace. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
We're going to give a 10-minute for you to enjoy the food at your table, and then we'll resume our program. Enjoy. We're going to resume our program, and I'd like to introduce to you our visionary leaders this year, Bonnie, TC, and Roger.
Good morning. I'm Bonnie Tisi. I represent or am part of a group that come up from St. Matthew's Episcopal Church in Bedford, New York. We are in our 8th year of volunteering. I'm here with Roger Vincent, who also started on day one with our volunteer group. And I was when I first heard that my church was going to get involved, I was so eager to join because I had started volunteering with my son when he was at University of Alabama, and he was doing some community service. I think it might have been in conjunction with a fraternity that they decided that, to give back to the community. And when I would go down there, I would volunteer with him. And this shirt is something that I would always bring down because he gave it to me. Oh, I forgot my pink construction hat from Women Build. And so I did that with him, and I knew how much he loved it. He had his tool belt, and he just felt like he was learning a great deal and contributing, and he continued to do that. So when my church started to do it in 2000, it was about 2011. When a huge tornado hit Tuscaloosa, Alabama in April, and the university completely shut down. They told everybody that whatever grade they had, that was it, and there would be but that Nick Saban sort of commandeered the entire football team, and all the other students fell in, and they stayed in Tuscaloosa all spring with Habitat to help, renovate. So anyway, so I get started with Habitat, and a few years later, unfortunately, my son died of a heart attack. And I have just made it my commitment to make sure that houses continue to flourish in Newburgh in Johnny's name. So you might see a banner up occasionally saying a Johnny house. So that's my story.
That was great. That was great. Good morning. See if I can read this. I'd first like to thank Jill for the opportunity to speak on the volunteer efforts here at Habitat Newburgh. In the audience this morning, I know that there are people here who have volunteered for many more years than our group has. And I know there are volunteers here that volunteer more frequently than we do. So for all of those volunteers whose commitment to Habitat outstrips our own, we are honored to be in your company. Now, Bonnie's told you a little bit about our volunteer group. We are from the St. Matthew's Church in Bedford. We're a little bit over an hour away, and we are now in our 8th year of volunteering. We come every month. And in June, I don't know whether they're showing on your screens, but we have some shots showing of our groups coming up. In June, our numbers swell because we bring up our youth group every spring. The core group of 10 volunteers have been together for the whole time, and our church has also sponsored a house. So you may have seen on the screen the T-shirts that we wear when we come up, and I'd just like to say a word about those. The shirts have they say Habitat for Humanity, Newburgh. They say St. Matthew's Church, our name, and they have the Episcopal shield. But the color and the design evokes a certain comic book hero. So the first year we came up, that was in 2017, the house we worked on was just 2 blocks to the north of Washington Street, so we would walk back and forth from the parking lot as a group. in our T-shirts. And one of those first mornings, a youngster turned to us and said, "Who are you guys?" To which we answered, "St. Matthew's." To which this youngster, to the great amusement of his friends, said, "It's Super Matthews." So here it goes. Super Matthews. So I would like to quickly address two topics this morning on a serious note relating to what we've been asked to speak about, and I'll pose them as questions. First question, what is it that volunteers do here? And the second question is, why do we do it? So turning to the first question, the answer is we do whatever is asked of us. So that would include on renovation builds at the outset, going into buildings in extremely bad condition, backyards, and removing every manner of hazardous material that you can think of and getting them into dumpsters. We work in any weather conditions. We've been out in snow and cold in the winter and really excessive heat in the summer. On construction sites, we've done demolition. We've worked on scaffoldings at heights you wouldn't want to fall from. We have installed ceiling insulation. If you've ever done it, you know the end of the day you have a back that you think will never stop aching. We have used every kind of tool, particularly for the females in our group, tools they never thought that they would use: miter saws, chop saws, nail guns, floor nailers, pipe benders, you name it, all the equipment in Dave's shop, and we love it all. And I will tell you that every volunteer experience we've had here at Newburgh has been productive. But I want to make a very, very clear point. That's not due to us as volunteers. It's due to the exceptional quality of the professional staff that's here that we work with. So, but I'm going to name them. Hold your pause just for, this is an applause line, but it goes one more line. On behalf of the volunteers from St. Matthew's, we want to express our gratitude and acknowledge the friendship that we have formed over all these years with Brady Quinn, with Mike Brooks, with Jason, with Isaiah and Trey, and Dave in the shop. They are all remarkable people, and they do truly deserve our applause. So that's what we do as volunteers. That's the answer to the question. We do whatever is asked of us, and that's what volunteers should be, and that's what Habitat is about. Well, now let me turn to, I think, really what is the key question: why do we do it? And I want to close with this. It is the power of the purpose. Building homes for families, having them realize the dream of home ownership, is energizing, it is motivational, and truly it is inspirational. And that is the reason why every one of us in the room is here today. Thank you. All right, Bonnie.
Thank you so much. It is our volunteer groups, such as these that are dedicated, our individual volunteers, everyone that shows up every day that helps us do what we do. So thank you. I'm going to draw your attention to our two screens so you can see this year's video. We don't just build houses, we build community.
You can go work for money anywhere. You can't work for a purpose anywhere.
It's not just about the homes that we've created. It's about the neighborhoods. It's about the communities that we've formed, the bonds that we've created.
It's the American dream to have a home, and Habitat makes that a reality.
It's very difficult to see individuals who work very hard on a daily basis, and yet they can't find a place to live.
We still want to offer people the opportunity to own a home, to own a piece of their community. But that opportunity is getting farther and farther away from people. And that's why the work of an organization like Habitat, which finds a way to pull it back within the reach of people, help people of a low income, of a moderate income afford a home, is so important to Newburgh right now.
We want folks here in Newburgh to be able to stay in Newburgh, and we give them that opportunity. A lot of these homes are in tremendous disrepair. So Habitat, we have the expertise on how to get these homes back on the tax rolls, and we've been able to do that with the city of Newburgh. We take more people from being renters and put them in a position to be homeowners.
We don't want people to get priced out. We want people to be able to raise their families here. We're not just creating affordable housing. We're creating homes for people to be able to own and to have pride in.
The impact is generational. Not only the families that are purchasing the homes, like the parents, but their kids will then have an opportunity to be in a stable space.
90% of the families that we've helped, their children go on to go to college. This is stability for a family, for a child.
It created a window of opportunities for me and my kids. You know, they were more excited about bringing people over, family, you know, come, you know. It's just been a great experience.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. So today we have a full packed day.
With Habitat, they walk you through the process from day one to close and even after. The program is not gonna fall in your lap. You have to work for it, you have to pay your down payment, you have to keep your credit good, you have to do all the necessary things to become a homeowner.
I'm working my sweat hours for my house. Habitat has shown me that they are with you every step of the way, and they'll continue to be there with you even after you purchase your home and you're done with your hours. They're still there for you.
It's a cooperative effort to work on a construction site with Habitat. There's experts from the staff who lead us and tell us what we need to do.
It can be a little intimidating if you don't know too much about construction, but everyone here is very willing and eager to help you learn.
We have volunteers that have been here for 12, 14, 20 years, and they still come all the time.
Decent housing is a human right, and we are going to build this city back better than ever.
We are putting together thoughts and concepts about multi-unit housing, partnering with other housing developers in the area, also developing outside the city of Newburgh because the need is great in the entire Orange County area.
Our ability to survive and thrive is based on housing, and Habitat plays an essential role to make sure we have the housing we need.
We are committed to selling the homes to families at 30% of their income. That means that we are tasked with making up the difference between construction costs and what we sell to the families to ensure that it's affordable to them long term. So donating to Habitat is what helps us fill those gaps.
When it comes to construction sites, we're seeing a massive increase in how much the cost of creating a project is. If we want to continue to have that amazing impact, we need that financial support.
That monetary donation, whether it be $25 a month on a reoccurring basis, or some of our larger donors that are part of our Building Houses, Building Hope Society, those funds mitigate the difference between the cost of what it is to build the house and what we eventually get back on return in the sale. You can walk down the street here in Newburgh. You can go to any of our job sites, currently 14 in construction, and you can see what your money is doing. It is putting up beams, it's putting up roofs. But then you come to a dedication, or then you can come to a house blessing, and you can see the actual emotional and spiritual space of what your dollars provide.
You're investing in the future of someone's life. And housing is something that I feel everyone should have.
It's building an infrastructure within the city that is supported with our mission of making sure that everyone has a decent place to live.
Your donations will help make the dream come true for so many. Yep, like it did for me.
I'm going to invite Julius Williams up, a Habitat homeowner, for his testimony.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the 105 plus homeowners and partner families that's coming to the Habitat program, I'm saying thank y'all. Without your donation, contribution, and time, we would not have the ability to do or support what we did today. It is an rewarding feeling to sit back and look at everybody and say, I thank you for what you have given to me and my family. I can't thank y'all enough for the contributions y'all have done, the support you have given, and the life of homeownership. I am going to say in short paragraph is this: no matter what we do, no matter what we say, a stable home is the best place for anybody to be. Health, prosperity, and growth will always shine through in the light of those who give. Thank y'all so very much.
Julius is also part of several of our committees and really just an incredible supporter back to the organization. So we're so blessed to have him part of our family. Paul Brothy, president of our board of directors, would like to speak next.
Good morning. It's nice to see so many friendly faces. My grandparents, sorry, I had the yogurt at the table and that was probably a mistake. My grandparents homesteaded a 40-acre dryland farm north of Denver, Colorado. If you don't know anything about dryland farming, it's a real difficult thing because if it rains, you have a crop, and if it doesn't rain, you don't have a crop, and so it's a real hard scrabble life. But my grandfather, my father, and my uncle built a small house. When they finished that house, they took delivery of a cast iron stove. The year was approximately 1917. In their circumstances, a stove wasn't just something to bake on, it was the main heating source in the house. My father always liked to tell us stories about how excited he was to see that stove arrive by wagon from Denver. They'd ordered it from a Montgomery Ward catalog, their version of Amazon. At least back then, they didn't need to worry about someone stealing the package from the front porch. When the delivery man gave them the stove, he also gave my father a toy bank. Now, in case you're doing some math, 1917 and wondering, how old is Paul? My father was not a young man when I was born. I'm old, but I'm not that old. I still have that bank. It's in the shape of a small globe for those of you who are in the back. When we were little kids, we loved to play with it. Habitat for Humanity is a faith-based organization. The late Kofi Annan, Secretary General of the United Nations, stated, "All great religions and traditions overlap when it comes to fundamental principles of human conduct, charity, justice, compassion, mutual respect, the equality of human beings in the sight of God." The work of Habitat is all about charity, justice, compassion, mutual respect, and the equality of human beings in the sight of God. We recognize the basic human need for housing. Our mission is to bring people together to build homes, communities, and hope. As you've heard, we rely on hundreds of people to make Habitat a success. Whether you pick up a hammer, work at Restore, serve on the board, support the Golf for Housing event, or the walk, volunteer in any capacity, or write checks, your contribution enables us to provide housing to people who would not otherwise be able to afford their home. Throughout the history of the United States, there have been housing programs. It may have been a federal program, like the Homestead Act my grandparents relied upon, or programs like Habitat. Just a few short years ago, we had discussions among the board members about how to attract new families to the program. In more than one meeting, we discussed that we did not have enough families applying to be part of our program. Today, we have a different issue. The number of applicants has grown exponentially. We simply, at present, cannot build enough homes to provide for the number of families who come to us. In 1917, the coins my father put in his bank would have enabled him to actually buy something. Because the bank is small, the past 100 years of inflation have rendered it really meaningless. At Habitat, we need to think about the future. What we did in the past to build just a few homes each year will not begin to address the challenge we face today. It is not just that our bank needs to grow and be bigger, but we also need to find greater efficiencies, better partnerships, and new ways to expand our program. We are looking outside the city limits of Newburgh. The city of Newburgh will always be our primary focus, but we know the need is greater. We're exploring modular construction and multifamily units, strategies other Habitat affiliates have used very successfully. The Building Houses, Building Hope Breakfast is our biggest fundraiser each year. We are grateful to each of you. While your presence alone is valuable to us, a monetary contribution has a greater impact. Table captains have an envelope on each table, and in that envelope are two forms. One is a form that's a release in case you show up in any of the pictures or videos today that you're giving your permission for that. And the other is a donation form, a pledge form. So please take a moment and fill that out and return that to the table captain. We encourage you to give a meaningful donation. What you do today changes the world. You embody charity, justice, compassion, mutual respect, and the equality of human beings in the sight of God. Thank you.
I would like to take a moment to thank our sponsors for this event: Resorts World Casino, Mediacom Communications, Matson's Deli for the beautiful food we have this morning, Dr. Michelle Winchester Vega and Associates, Goal Evolution, Hudson Valley AV, and Timeline Productions. Thank you for those sponsors. I cannot do or be here without an amazing team that shows up every day on staff for us at Habitat. And so I'd like to take a moment, if the staff of Habitat could stand for us, we could recognize you and your hard work and your dedication. Yeah. I'd like all of our volunteers to stand as well, please. Please stand. Thank you. And if you're a member of our Building Houses, Building Hope Society, please stand as well and be recognized. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So as you can see, it takes a whole lot of people to do this. It takes a community. And our commitment to Newburgh holds strong. Next year, we'll be celebrating our 25th anniversary, and we plan to honor and celebrate the legacy that has been built here in the city as we work toward expanding our mission. Our hope is to widen our portfolio of development, to engage stakeholders in our mission, and to bring more opportunities for everyone to have a decent place to live. Presenters, can I have you to the staging area? And our table captains, if you don't mind standing, as you are a huge component to what we are doing here today. So as a symbolic gesture of the work we do, and most importantly, the work we need to do, we will ceremoniously lift these walls because we cannot do it alone. And we ask all of you to come and build with us. Thank you. Thank you all for being here. Enjoy your breakfast, and we hope to see you back soon. Thank you.